Hello and welcome to Cinemondo with Kathy and Mark. And we are here because something huge is happening right now.
When you hear the name Prabhas, you go, okay, big time actor,
Yes.
right? And when you
Big
think
time.
of Prashanth Neel, you think of a director who did KGF and KGF 2.
And KGF was one of the biggest box office hits last year in
Yeah,
the world.
KGF 2. Yeah,
Like not just
KGF 2.
India, not just
Yeah,
America. No,
yeah,
huge,
huge.
huge.
So when he has a new announcement for a new film, and he usually works in the Kannada film industry, but this is a Telugu film. And Prabhas
Oh,
is a Telugu actor, so he's working in a different language. But of course, it will be shot and it'll be dubbed in 5 or 6 languages, as all the big Indian films are. So this is an announcement for a big movie called Salaar that
okay.
is coming out sometime.
Sometime coming out eventually, there will be
But
a film called Salaar
yeah,
and
and it's going
stars
to be
Prabhas.
huge because it's the
It's
KGF
huge.
guy. You
It's
know,
the KGF guy. I mean, if I was Prabhas, I would also want him to give me the Yash treatment. Like, put me in a
yeah.
huge action movie, make me a big cool star, make it look cool, and he's got the star power to do it. So I'm very. This is just, I think, a title announcement.
It's a Hombale film, so it's
Teaser.
one of those big film things. It's not the movie is coming out September 23rd, so that is the
Okay,
release
so it's
date.
almost
So
okay, but there's
there's
no
there's a,
trailer.
no trail. The trailers are coming. There'll be songs will be coming. There'll be all kinds of stuff coming.
I
So
cannot
this
wait.
is one of our big 2023 films, I believe. So let's take a look
I'm
at the very
excited.
first bit of marketing for this
God.
movie, Solar, coming in September.
Okay, here we go. Okay, we ready? That's all you need to know, people. The most violent man in the world is
He
coming.
is the most violent. Yeah, I think they said use violent
The
twice.
most
Violent.
violent. And yeah, with exclamation points. And it was interesting, it was in English, which I thought was maybe that's just the trailer we got, but that was interesting too. They're really selling it internationally. You can tell they want everyone
Yes.
to see this
Well,
movie.
it's RRR and RR
Mhm.
especially and KGF. These are
Oh my
huge
God.
movies. Like, okay, now we're not just talking
Yeah.
about India or maybe
Right.
the Far East. It's going to be
Mhm.
everywhere, worldwide. So how we promote this guy to make him make a worldwide star, like SRK is and Yash
Right.
is. He's the next guy. So we're
Right.
Prabhas is the guy that we're pushing to make this. And so we're going to make it the most violent, more violent than Yash, more violent than SRK, more violent than John Abraham, more violent than any of those guys.
More violent. This is violent. And also,
So
and I am so excited for that. Violent is what I'm here for. But also, I feel like, Telugu's on the map because of RR.
yeah,
America's watching. They want to go, hey, I need more Indian films. And now they're starting to realize Telugu is a industry to watch. That's just how it works, people. It's not me. It's just that's how
it's
superficial this industry is. All right.
well, it's also here with streaming services,
Yeah.
Z5 and these things, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's Hotstar now is on Hulu, which everybody has Hulu
Yeah.
here in the United States.
Oh, it's so
So
nice to be able to get Indian movies so easily now.
it's so much, Prime Video, of course,
Yeah.
Amazon does their own thing, but Hulu, you can go and there's hundreds of films. So it's like, okay, we can promote this and this can get on Hulu fairly quickly, which adds to the revenues. This is all business and it's all smart business. And so let's put out an early little thing like this to get people like us to talk about it and say, hey, Solar is, whatever, 5 months away or 4 or 5 months away, but who cares? We're
Well,
ready
think about
for
it.
it.
This film was in production 2020. KGF happened. KGF 2. Huge, huge, massive international hit. Then we have RR, which just was caught the world on fire. Everybody wanted to be part of it. They were all like,
Yeah.
oh my God, oh my God. So the timing is so freaking perfect for this movie because it has so many things going for it. Director of KGF 2, Telugu film, most violent man ever in existence is going to be on the
Yeah.
screen. So the marketing alone is like, just lean into it. Just make it all about this. Sell
Well,
to the action audiences because this looks like you have Prabhas in it. He's going to bring it. He's going to give you that soul. He's going to give you a little bit more, of something to grab onto and motivation, even though he is the most violent man in the world.
Well, it's also the same, writer director, so that makes it interesting. Like, will he go with a different actor? Will that, is that okay? And
Yeah.
also different language, at least in
Yeah.
the way they're going. Will that sort of change the way? Will he want to bring a little bit more? I don't know, humanity is the right word, but a little bit more something, a
Yeah.
little bit more heart, whatever, to make the movie, because we know there's the body count will be through the roof, and that's what we're there for. But it's always helpful when there's a little bit of like, oh, you care about the
Well,
character
you want
that
some
might be
stakes.
killed.
You need
Yeah,
stakes. You need a reason, or otherwise it's just carnage, which
yeah.
also is good. But I'm just saying, you want more people to see your movie, and I think there's a little bit more of a little more scrutiny now because there's, I think, a broader base for the audience in general. So if you're going to
Hmm.
try and attract more crowds to your movie and a bigger, more diverse crowd, which is like worldwide, this is the time to do it, especially with this pedigree. Holy shit. It'd be like from the director of, from the
Right.
star of, because Prabhas has his own freaking, huge following. So,
And
wow.
these films are getting wider releases, whether it's PS2 or
Hmm.
Pathan or Brahmastra. I mean, they're just out there for people here in the U.S. who never really thought about watching Indian films other than maybe Indian people at Indian cinemas.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
it's like they're everywhere. At
People
least
want to know.
in major cities. So
Yeah.
if RRR is playing in small cities throughout the country, in the United
Insane.
States, that's something that didn't happen a couple of years ago.
It did
So
not. Yeah. And so, and that's a whole different kind of movie, but at the same
right,
time, there is
right.
this market for the most violent man called one man, the most violent. Wait, the most violent men. Oh, called the one man, the most violent. So, okay, it's a little tricky, a little
The most
complicated.
violent men
Copy line.
called one man the
The
most
most
violent.
violent.
Right. So when violent men are calling you the most violent, you're fucking violent.
It's fucking violent. And Prabhas in and as. There's a lot of copy gymnastics going on in this system. I'm a little
Prabhas,
like
yeah, that's like
in
very
and
interesting.
as.
In
Okay.
and I've never have you seen that before
I
on a
see.
title sequence?
I would have left out the "in" and just said Prabhas as Salaar, but they wanna
Yeah,
make sure you know he's in the movie, which I assume is kind of a foregone conclusion if you say he is Salaar, but
Prabhas as Salaar.
yes. Then you know
Prabhas
it's a name.
in. Yeah, exactly. Prabhas in and as
And,
Salaar. Okay.
this is on, IMDb, and again, it's all in English, which I think is interesting. So, maybe they're afraid if you see the name Salaar, you're not gonna understand what that word is, and you're gonna kinda go, what does it mean?" But if you say he as, then you get that it's a name and it's not as like, "Oh, okay, it's just a weird name. I haven't heard it," from other
Yeah,
audiences. Americans would be
yeah.
like, "I never heard of this name."
Right.
Then we have this one.
That's badass. I mean, that's like
Is that just piles of bodies? I can't quite tell. It's like, that is the most
it,
violent
it,
man. Is it just gonna be him just plowing, like, mowing down people?
well, it definitely looks like a body's like a war zone with some beat up trees in the back and burnt
No.
trees, and he's rebelling. So obviously he is sort of like something happened
Oh,
bad to him or his people or whatever,
something
and
bad.
he is ready to seek revenge. And I'll tell you, revenge. Let's go back to the first John Wick. Poor little puppy gets killed, and it's like the most
That's why
awful
I don't
thing.
watch the first one. I have to skip
Yeah,
that whole
it's
first part.
really hard to watch because a
Not
cute
gonna
little
watch.
beagle
It's a
puppy.
puppy.
Yeah, and like you just so that sort of vengeance carries through like four films. It's like you go back to the reason why he's doing this. Yeah, because of that puppy, that poor little puppy.
Interesting.
So
So I've
anyway,
heard there's a quote here from Prabhas saying, "My character is extremely violent," which I did not know until this moment. So this is something I haven't really done before. So it's like, whoa, he's gonna see. Even he wants to be part of this. He's like this kind of classy guy. He's done violence, but this is like whole next level. And then
well,
there's also a rumor that this was a remake of Neil's debut film Ugram, but
okay.
apparently that is not true. He's saying that this was actually specifically written for Prabhas.
Okay, so that makes me think, especially with what Prabhas said, that
Yeah,
there's a little bit of there's a good reason why he's going violent. It's just not violent for violence sake. There's a reason he's sort of getting ready to seek revenge.
that's
So
right.
that's interesting. So, you know, uh,
Look, we still have Prabhas in and as. Like they're really leaning into that in and as.
and is that an ampersand? Yeah, N and S. That's so
In and
odd.
as. But it's way up there, so you're kind of like in and as. Oh, Solar the
Solar
Saga.
the saga. Okay, so maybe this is the first of like many movies. Maybe they look at John Wick and say, "This why is this so successful? The action's through the roof, and they've made four films, each one more successful than the previous. So it's like, hey, why not? Go
Why
for
not?
it.
And I also don't. I mean, I feel like almost John Wick stole this from Indian films because I've seen these Indian films before John
Oh,
Wick of being complete, like violent, like
or and
extravaganza.
and they were maybe stolen from John Woo films, like from the 80s, those
Right.
kind of, so there's,
Lots of slow motion. That's right.
yeah, lots of just over the top action, which
Very.
we're always here for that stuff. If it's choreographed well and interesting, like Nobody with was really fun to watch because it was maybe that's what this is a little bit like a character, an actor like a Bob Odenkirk who doesn't do action, sort of goes in and brings a little something to it. And
Yeah.
maybe that's what Prabhas is. They're looking at him, going, okay, maybe he's not
Right.
just the typical action guy. Anyway,
He's
we
not
can't
wearing
wait.
the cool suits, so he's going to be down and dirty, gritty.
Right?
He's not going to be the Yosh action of
No,
wearing the
something.
really cool suits. He's going to be like a little bit more, everyman. It looks like. But
Yeah.
we're doing a lot of maybe because
For
a
5 seconds.
lot of this film is under wraps. As you can
Yeah,
tell, they're
yeah,
teasing it right now because really all this is like all you need to know is he's in it and he's the most
yeah,
violent man in the world.
and and
You
it's
don't need
fun
to
to
say anything else.
talk about what we think it might be, just from a
Yeah.
10
What do
second.
you think it's
Yeah,
gonna be? Does
yeah.
anyone know? I mean,
I know.
let us know in the comments if you have an idea what you think this movie's about.
I think it'll be a hit, though. That's my prediction.
I have an idea. I think so. Yeah, I think it will. Because I mean,
uh,
I can't wait to see this movie.
it's going to be
This is
fun.
gonna have to be a big screen review from you and me. Go to the theater, see it with an audience.
Maybe it'll be IMAX. Who knows?
Oh, that would be good.
I know. Okay,
Yeah.
wear your Dramamine, wrists,
Oh my god,
wristbands.
that'd be crazy. Earplugs.
All
All
right. Well,
right.
that's our first look at Salaar. I'm sure we'll be
Bye.
looking at more stuff along the lines. So take care,
Violence.
everybody. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.